At any rate, I'm happy to take questions about any of that and advocate that publishers are not evil.
David.
Yeah, I think it is one.
You guys hear me?
All right.
My name is Damon Groh. I started my first company in 2005, the TechCrunch 50 finalist in 2008. I started a gaming company. I wanted to destroy publishers because I think they're not evil, they're fucking retarded. So I gave it a rush. So my second company, I did a bunch of Facebook games. I did Accuse the Lord, Steve Alive, and I did the first war game on Facebook called Band of Heroes. So I sold that, and then now I'm doing mobile advertising, so I got out of gaming. I do get sucked back in, but I have to come here. I'm doing a game now for Joe Montana, yeah. So but yeah, I keep doing this. But anyways, yeah, they asked me to come here and stuff. But my current company's Crown Mob, and I'm sure I'll make it a little more colorful today.
My name is Randy Engel, co-founder and senior partner at Yetizen Labs, which is a game consulting firm which I help regular developers become self-published and then hopefully eventually land investment through accelerators and etc. I actually am a mentor here at Yetizen and help with the acceleration part of the crews that they bring in. I've been making games for over 30 years, more than 20 years video games. I've run my own studio of more than 45 people and have suffered under the hands of terrible, terrible publishers. But I can honestly say that some of my best friends are in the publishing industry as well. So I will speak to both ends, and I have 4 stories galore if you really want to hear the bad stuff. So.
Okay, question from Japheth.
Each of you tell me a horror story from either developer or publisher end. Let's hear the bad and the ugly first.
I'll start here with 505 since they were a guest here tonight, and it's before Justin joined 505. I felt like I had a sure thing. I had picked the Wii as a development platform, and that was going to be the way to go. And I knew that I was way ahead of all my friends who were investing in Xbox 360 and PS3 because they were building these 300-person teams and they were failing fast. And here I am building a small, concentrated team, and my team is gung-ho. We actually realized that our technology investment had to be monetized. So we said, oh, we're going to partner with Garage Games, and we're going to bring their platform over to the Wii, and so we're going to be middleware providers, and we're going to have our publisher friends. We went out, figured out that the best game that you could possibly ever make on a Wii was Zorro, because it would use the controller as the sword and the other controller as a whip. So we went and found the guys who owned the license rights, and we contacted them, and we said, we're going to make the best Zorro game that's ever been made because it's going to be on the Wii. They agreed. They introduced us to the fine folks at Digital Brothers, who are the owners of 505 Games. Everybody loved each other. We went in this great story of going to Milan and sitting there and eating pizza at their family restaurant and enjoying the hospitality of this great company. Fell in love with the process. Bid up the price to over $1 million, and then promptly found out that we were going to be held to Metacritic data to get the actual money that we were going to be doing. And anybody who's ever been in a developer relationship knows that you cannot possibly make money if you make your contract based on the Metacritic data, especially if you publish on a Nintendo platform, because the Metacritic data is skewed purposefully to be higher for PlayStation and Xbox than it is for any Nintendo platform. So we're immediately screwed out of more than $200,000, and we get knocked down another $200,000. Pretty soon I'm mortgaging my house to be able to pay for the project and get it done. I'm losing my employees. They hired a publishing partner, who's still not the 505 guys here in the United States. They hire a publisher partner to come in and help me run the game from their point of view. He technically can't be in the United States because it's illegal for him to enter the country again, but they figure out how to get him in. He proceeds to try to subvert my team and get them to make a different game than the one that I've signed up and paid for out of my own pocket. and proceeds to basically chisel away at things until I've lost my team, I've lost my money, and by the time that the product gets done, which I did, I always finish things, so I finished the product, and I said, okay, it's done, can we get it tested? They had no testing resources, so what they did is they went out and told other teams that wanted to publish products with 505 that if they would just please test this Wii game, they would sign them up to do other projects. So you can guess that the quality of testing that I had on the Zorro Wii was about the lowest possible quality of testing that any product has ever gotten. And after a year of being in QA and getting 50 bugs in that time, I'm like, I can't even make my money back. How am I going to do this? And they finally ship in the UK and parts of Europe, and I've already lost my company. I'm literally laid everybody off, and I'm shutting the doors, and I'm like going away. And they finally open a 505 office in San Diego and say, hey, we're ready to publish here in the United States. And I said, what do you want me to do? And I literally had to pull out of my storage unit a Wii developer kit and hack, because I have no programmers or people left, I had to hack the European disk submission to change the hex codes so that it would work on an American version of the Wii, and submit that to them and get them to write the letter to Nintendo. Because I have friends at Nintendo and they would do it for me, but I made them write the letter that said that they would publish the piece of crap version of Zorro for Wii in the United States if I hacked the ROM. And so that's what happened. And when it was all done, the marketing that was spent was 2 ads in comic books and a contest on YouTube that 0 entrants participated in. And it was called Who's the Zorro in You? And they had some kid running around in a Zorro costume pretending to be Zorro, and that was their promo for the thing, and they were hoping to generate viral videos from it. And I called down and I said, listen guys, this is abysmal. This is the worst experience I had. I called the guys, my buddies in Milan, and I said, how could you let this happen to me? And obviously I haven't had a lot of chance to speak to them. I still think very highly of the Digital Brothers, the guys in Milan that were, these great guys. But it was a worst possible experience I could have ever had as a publisher. And I certainly lost my house and a lot of other things because of it. So there's the horror story of the night.
I'm up.
There was a question.
I'm not compete with that, man.
I feel your pain. Could you at any point file them in breach and not develop any further, or were you just too far down the rabbit hole?
Sure. The question was, could I file in breach? The problem was at the point where we had suffered already. Is now I had, and this happens to many studios, and this is something that's very common. Is you get to the point where you have no money to pay your payroll anymore, which means you also have no money to pay your payroll taxes anymore, and immediately all your funds are put in lock, which means that there's a lien put on by the California state and the IRS, which means that you cannot hire lawyers anymore to help you solve any of your problems. The best I could do was put Disney and several other companies into collections because they owed my little studio over $500,000 altogether, all the publishers that screwed me that year. 505 wasn't the only one that screwed me.
How many screwed you that year?
It was 7 different people that owed Pronto Games money at the end. And like I said, it was over $500,000. And at the end, you can't even fight them because you can't get a lawyer to participate anymore because the lawyer looks at you and goes, how would you ever pay me because your money's locked up in taxes? So what I did is I went to a collections agency because who's more ruthless than publishers? Collectors, right? So I just went to them and I said, please put the fear of God into them by threatening their credit rating. And most of these companies are so big that they can't possibly have little companies like mine affect their credit rating, so they were ready to pay like that, right? But there were plenty of them that owed well more than $250,000 in back paid, unpaid, project costs that never paid. And so I just suffered under all that, and 505 at least was paying, but they stopped paying at the point where, it had been a year sitting in testing, right?
So,
They weren't
so
paying
we
it.
have a lawyer in the room. Can you actually share what are the options for developers when stuff like that happens with publishers?
Well, first of all, don't not pay your payroll tax.
That's a partner problem that I have, because I actually, the part of the mortgage where I put my house up, I actually then went out and raised another $150,000 to pay off those taxes.
So any way, besides paying payroll taxes, anything they can do to make the publishers pay them? In a situation like this, when the
I
publishers.
think it's very contract specific.
I mean, you have to have the right contract in the first place, yeah.
So can I share a story about 505 Games? I don't work for them.
Yeah.
So actually, we kind of move on
I'm
to
gonna
other
keep
horror
it-
stories. I will come back to you.
2 seconds.
I will come back to you, David.
Shit, dude. Therapy here. So basically when I started, I started in 2005. I was trying to make an MMO. It's called Chaos War. I don't know if any of you guys heard of it. I don't know if Joe did. It was a pretty crazy project. I wish there was Kickstarter back then. Fuck, I would have had all my money by then. So, I was just a gamer. I started as a gamer. I was a big MMO player. I'm around one of the top guilds in the world. My friends went to Blizzard, did really well, so I decided to do it independently. But try going to a VC. I went to all of them. Excel, Sequoia, whatever. It's just games back then were history of a model. That's why publishers have such a stranglehold, because they believe that, we're taking a big risk on your hit. We're going to take everything. You have no choice. There was no money back in the early 80s and 90s. There's just no money, right? And no VC is ever going to even sniff at you. So, but I tried really hard. I was kicked out of all of them. And I came up with a method to turn it on its head, right? So that's what got into TechCrunch 50. All that kind of stuff was really great. That's when that damn mortgage crisis hit. That was a fucking nightmare. So what happened was I eventually raised money. So I raised around $2.5 million from angel investors, stuff like that. Got really far. We decided to pivot in and do flash games and stuff. Never got to fulfill my dream, my MMO. Maybe I will one day, who knows. So, but at that time, a friend of mine came to me and asked me to do Facebook games because I'm talented, right? So I can come up with all this stuff. And we just started, our first game was Yakuza Lords. And I remember what happened was we launched that game on Facebook. In the first 15 minutes, I'm talking to White, $200 for a bunch of credit. I was like, what the hell have I been doing, man? I knew that the publisher's time was gonna come, right? We can go to the people, right? And we can be on a platform. That's why I love Facebook platform. Facebook made it so they couldn't strangle us anymore, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I made three successful games. Then after that, I got out of it. But I think one of the big things is it's a bunch of guys. Yeah, it's art to us. It's creative. It's our passion. I mean, it's our passion, and it's we want to just get this done. We want people to see it. And the thing is, there are a couple different types of entrepreneurs. One entrepreneur can make money, right? They're good at it. MBA types, right? I hate MBA types. They're all about risk and shit like that, right? All that stuff. It's all important, right? It's all finances, all everything else. But it's money. It's about money, right? But the rest of us, it's a burning desire. We can't even sleep at night. We can't. It kills us. It's a nightmare. We see it. We see it right in front of our fucking faces. We see the reality of the world. When I was in Chaos War, man, I saw all the valleys, all the people, all the stories, everything else I was going to build, all the mechanics, everything else. And you're never going to be able to take that passion. Unfortunately, there's no money for that passion. And I think that's where it all got out of whack. But when Facebook came along and mobile came along, I know 4 guys making $1 million a month, right? Fuck the publishers, man. You don't need them anymore. If you want to build something, put it on mobile, get it out there, right? See what's going on. And, build what you dream and you love and hope you can build up to it. So, I dealt with all of them. I actually have one publisher, give you one publisher story. So I was at one publisher one day, they were very, very big. They wanted to buy Chaos War. They wanted to come in, they wanted to take the IP. I was in the elevator with the guy, and the fucker's like, so we don't want you to work on it anymore. We're just gonna buy the IP from you. We have other people to put on it. I was like, go fuck yourself. Ain't no way. They're gonna make it an abomination. They're gonna send some guy out trying to make some stupid other game. Some NBA type looking at risk, looking at, you know, oh, well, you know, the market now wants to create mermaid games. Go fuck yourself, dude.